Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Super Breakdown. Today we're looking at the RX-178 Gundam Mark II Titans version, piloted by Camille Bidan. This is a 1500. Its moveset is a little bit more limited, but it has a lower cost and still has a lot of the melee. So let's get into what this suit can do. You have your basic shot. It still does decent damage, and like all the other Zeta suits, when you run out of shots, you can manually reload, so you will always have that basic shot. You have the bazooka, much like the other Zeta suits. The bazooka ends in a flak shot, which can allow you to hit for a little bit of damage, even if they're out of the range of the shot, but obviously up close will still do quite a bit of damage. You have this kick on right trigger, which can be kind of hard to land. However, it's a really nice kick because you can land with it even when they are in yellow lock, when they're downed, because the second hit always follows the first, even if you don't connect with the first. Which means you can get somebody... we missed there, but we could have hit him anyway, even though he was in down status, because he came out of down before the second hit was thrown off. So it's a pretty solid melee attack, and it has a lot of priority, too. So you can kind of throw it out pretty quickly. You also have the Striker, which calls in Appley, or Roberto. And the two of them will do pretty decent damage. The Striker comes back relatively quickly, too, which is very nice. Gives you a lot of options. Then you have the Burst, which I missed again. It is a kick going into a combo. Very difficult to land because it's the same as your kick, basically, when it comes to hitboxes. So you have to practice that kick a lot. And as you saw there, if the enemy has a higher priority attack, your first kick will still land. You just won't finish the kick off. I don't love this suit, and I'll get into why in the second round after we get done showing things off. But I do think that it has its own tricks to show off here, which I think are pretty good. That kick being very handy, again. There we go. There's the combo. And this combo's really nice. When you get to pull it off, it feels really good. Higher priority. Especially like once you play a lot and get a feeling for what it's got a higher priority, then you can kind of just abuse that kick and get some really nice combos going off because you know what it's going to break to be able to connect. That's another life. But again, because you're piloting a 1500, you can afford to die a little bit more than you could piloting some of the bigger ones, which makes this a great secondary suit to go with a high cost unit so that you can finish off enemies or get in and disrupt enemies without the enemy really being able to do much to you. Even if they kill you, it's not as big of a deal if they kill you as compared to your partner. As we go into the second round, we ask the question, should you use the Mark II? Honestly, I'm torn on it because I think the range kit is pretty not great. I think it's decent. The Strikers come back really quickly is really handy. Always having that basic shot is really solid. But I don't think that it is great. I think that it is just fine. And the melee kit is pretty good with that kick. And with the burst being a kick. With your melees, that was dashing melee. Dashing forward melee. You also have regular forward melee. And as you can see, the melee attacks, that was the dashing version again. The melee attacks still have quite a bit of damage on them, which is very nice. Forward melee. Very, very good. Back melee. Well, don't have a lot of health with this unit. Back melee is still just the pop-up from the Mark II. Side melee will also just be the side melee from the Mark II, but we'll show it off here anyway. And then we have basic melee, which I missed. We'll burst out of that. Go for a kick. They burst out of it. That's fine. At least you're getting to see a lot of the Marasai and Gap play before we show them off. Basic melee, which we missed again. It has a very short range on it, as you can tell. Pretty nice. Again, the melee damage is good. Your main goal with melee is going to be to try and get your kicks off because the higher priority, and then interstitiing with other melee moves. I think the Mark II would be way better if you could cancel out of the kick into another melee, but you can't. once you've started the kick animation, you will finish that animation. And so although it is a good thing for down status, you can't go from it into another melee attack, which is kind of unfortunate. Because as you can see, the melee that it has, the multi-hit combos that it has, go pretty well together into a good combo there of side melee, forward melee, forward melee, which is pretty good. I think when it comes to melee units, this is one of the best 1500s for melee. It's just that the rest of the kit doesn't help it a lot. And because it is a 1500, it still does less damage in some ways than you would expect it to do. Let me know your thoughts on the Mark II in the comment section down below. And until next time, I've been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that the Mark II has to offer.